Should you buy a Steam Deck? For a vast majority of you, yes. Yes, you probably should. For those of you that wanted a quick answer from a random person on the internet, you're welcome. All I ask for you in return is for you to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new here, and leave a comment and let me know if I helped answer that question. You can go ahead and click off the video now, just get out of here. Get out of here, you. Okay, now that they're gone, just gonna be the two of us. No, I'm not doing that. Now I can go into detail on why I absolutely love the Valve Steam Deck and why I think almost every type of gamer, if you play games in general, should get one. I will also go into detail on why someone would want to buy one and why someone would not want to buy one. So it's not just going to be all praise for this device, even though majority of this video is probably heavily biased towards the more positive side of the system. Hello everyone, my name is Jay Figgy. I do playthroughs, top 10 videos, tier lists, and reviews. And in today's video, we are covering the Valve Steam Deck. If you haven't already figured that out, go ahead, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself something to eat, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about my experience I've had with the Steam Deck. I initially started off with the 512GB LCD model back in, I think, September of 2022. I gave that one to a good friend of mine, and now I currently own a 1TB OLED model, so I've owned a Steam Deck for roughly 2 years now. I actually remember when I ordered it back in March of 2022, then canceled the order for some reason, then reordered it back in June of 2022. And then I finally got it in September of that same year. But back then, there was a wait list in order to get one. So you were put into a quarter, either 1, 2, 3, or 4. And depending on when you ordered it, you were put into one of these. The big problem was that during 2022, there was a global chip shortage due to very obvious reasons I won't even mention in this video. So once you ordered one, it was going to take a very long time. And Valve, at the time, could not give an exact date on when it would arrive like you currently can if you buy one now. So during that time, I watched nothing but Steam Deck related videos. When I tell you guys I was obsessed, I was obsessed. Yeah, I was very impatient waiting for mine to come in. I even looked at a subreddit that had a calculator that would give you a somewhat more accurate date on when it would get here. So that was very interesting. Okay, so back to the question at the very start of this video. Why should you, with your hard-earned money, buy a Steam Deck? There's actually a lot of reasons why you should buy one, if you have the money, of course, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this thing is cheap, because it's not. $400 is a lot of money, and that's just for the cheapest option out of the three. Anyways, the Steam Deck, in my opinion, is a great introduction to PC gaming, and is also a great alternative to play a majority of your own PC games almost anywhere you want instead of being at a normal desk at home. Or, if you just play at work, that works too. Now, I'm going to talk to a few different types of people. Some of you may fit into any one of these categories, but if not, that is okay. So, for my first group of people, I'm talking to my console-only players. So my Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch players. If you have always wanted something that plays PC games, but don't feel like building a normal PC or spending tons of money for a pre-built one, then the Steam Deck is just for you. The only bad part about that is that all your games you currently have on your consoles cannot be transferred over to a Steam Deck, so please be aware of that. But the good news is that games go on sale on the Steam store way more frequently than on console stores, especially during the seasonal sales like the upcoming Steam Winter Sale going on from December 19th through January 2nd. Alright, moving on. So the second group I'm referring to are my PC gamers. So anyone who already has a gaming laptop or normally built PC, I still personally believe that the Steam Deck is for you too. I know there's quite a few of you that have a huge game library, like myself, and have a massive backlog of games you want to trim down and or finish. That's one of the reasons I actually got a Steam Deck in the first place. As you're going to learn throughout this video, I have a lot of reasons why I got the device in the first place. My whole Steam library just transferred over, so it's super handy. So if you're worried about your saves not transferring, don't worry. A majority of games already have built-in cloud saves, so you can jump from a regular PC straight to the Steam Deck without too many problems, unless you're not connected to the internet. or if a game on Steam or any other launcher that you have doesn't have cloud saves. I'll get into that a little bit later in the video. If you didn't fall into the first two categories I mentioned so far, and you've never owned a gaming console or PC in your entire life, or are planning on getting your loved one a gift for the holidays, then the Steam Deck is perfect for you as well. So this is like the perfect quintessential gamer gift. So back to the Steam Deck itself, it has a really good, I would even say beginner-friendly UI, which is called Game Mode, as you can see here. This is what I'm currently showing you right now. It's nice because you don't have to stare at a normal computer screen, and you have a general idea on how to use the device. You know, left goes left, right goes right. You guys know how to use a TV remote. Yeah, you guys aren't stupid. Also, I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before, but a big advantage that the Steam Deck has over other PC handhelds is that the Steam store is on it by default. So you can go right to the store and buy the games you want to play. Also, in game mode, the Steam Deck will tell you which games are verified to run on the deck. There's 4 different symbols, which you can see here, but honestly, I would ignore these entirely and just use this website called ProtonDB, which I will link down below just for you guys. Trust me, it's way more accurate than Valve's rating system when it comes to these 4 symbols here. This website will tell you if the Steam game you've chosen is playable or not, and what tweaks and adjustments you can do to get the game running at its best performance for the deck. And all this comes from thousands of other deck owners as well, which is why I highly recommend this site. There's also another mode of the deck. This right here is desktop mode, which literally operates like a normal computer. Who would have thought that a handheld PC is just a small laptop? Crazy. If you have games on other launchers like Epic Games, Ubisoft, GOG, Xbox Game Pass, or any emulators you'd like to put on the deck, you'll have to go through a few hoops in desktop mode in order to get those games to appear on game mode. But luckily, there's plenty of tutorials out there on how to do that, which brings me to my next point, the community. The community for the Steam Deck is one of the most positive and well-informed groups of people I've ever encountered on the internet. So if there's an issue you are having with your Steam Deck, I can 99% guarantee you that someone else out there has had the exact same issue and has had that exact issue fixed. You really just have to do some digging online, but I'm sure you'll find an answer pretty fast, which is so nice. So a huge thank you to everyone in this wonderful community. Keep up the great work, fellas. I am so proud to be a part of this. Okay, hi, me again. Now, 2 things that I have not touched on yet, but I think are worth mentioning, are the trackpads on the deck and the 4 programmable back buttons on the deck as well. So as you can see here, we have the default controller look. You got your thumbsticks here, your directional and camera on both sides, and then you got your top buttons, your triggers, your buttons, then another D-pad right here on this side. See if the camera can get it. Fantastic. So yeah, you get these. So your typical controller. So these trackpads can actually do a lot. So for my RTS players or my MMORPG enjoyers, so like Final Fantasy 14, World of Warcraft, any of those games, you can actually program. I'll put some footage in a second of somebody doing this, but you can actually program these for like a hotbar. Like for example, let's say you're playing GTA or whatever, and you want your weapon wheel. You can actually use this, or Red Dead Redemption 2. You can use this as like a shortcut. So pretty cool, nifty feature. Just thought I'd bring that up. And also when it comes to these 4 programmable back buttons, so depending on what game you're playing, there's like a profile for each game. So like, let's say I want this to be like my jump button, and for one game, and another game I want this button to be a crouch button. I can do that. So that's what I think is really cool about the Steam Deck, because you can kind of make it like your own console that's custom made for you, instead of stuck with whatever game company gives you. Next up, we're talking about portability, which is also another reason I bought one. The portability of the Steam Deck is nearly unmatched in my opinion. An example of this is not too long ago, I recently got back from a trip where I had to fly 4 hours, and I made sure to bring my Steam Deck with me, as a lot of games don't require an internet connection to work. But you have to put the deck into offline mode and do a couple other things, but I'll cover that later in the video. So yeah, I just went through TSA and just brought out the Steam Deck out of its case and everything. It scans, it's cool. So just know you can bring it with you in an airport. If somebody says you can't, they are full of it and you should fight them. But as you can see here, I'm playing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero on my flight, which is one of many games you can play in offline mode. And yes, I know I'm losing to a CPU right here, but that's besides the point. Here I'm playing Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005, which I'm playing with the PCX2 PlayStation 2 emulator that I downloaded. This once again leads me to my next point on the deck. Emulation. Do you guys ever miss a game from your childhood that you really wish you could play again, but your old console that's collecting dust doesn't even turn on? Well, emulation solves this issue. Emulation is the main reason I bought a Steam Deck in the first place. This thing can play almost anything besides the last generation of consoles. So PS4 and Xbox One and any current generation consoles are off the table for now. Also, some PS3 and Xbox 360 games are either hit or miss, but are getting better support soon. But as of right now, you can play GameCube, Wii, Atari, Sega Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 2, Nintendo DS, Nintendo 3DS, Game Boy, and so many other retro consoles you could think of. And they run buttery smooth. You know, it's honestly crazy to me that the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube are now considered retro consoles. God, I'm old. I actually won't show any Nintendo emulation because if I do, I'm going to have an Italian plumber come to my house to sue and rob me for all I'm worth, kidnap my family along with taking my left kidney. So yeah, not doing that. But just know you can do all of that if you get your games, your BIOS files, and anything else you need for emulation legally. I am in no way advocating for sailing the high seas on this channel, and I absolutely won't tell you how to get any of these games, but you never know, you might be able to figure that out yourself. With emulation, there are games I never thought 10 years ago I would ever be able to play on the go, but with the deck, it's now possible. There's only one console I'm disappointed that I can't emulate, and it's the greatest, most powerful console of all time. We all love it. It's great. It's a hit with the kids too. That's right. You guessed it. It's the Soulja Boy console. You guys missed out on the opportunity of a lifetime, and now we're suffering the consequences. Now, if you want my recommendation on how to get your emulators running on your very own Steam Deck, I highly recommend you use EmuDeck. I won't go into too much detail again on how to do this, but trust me, just use EmuDeck. That is EmuDeck. This software puts everything you would ever need on your device, and it's highly customizable, and it takes a lot of the hard work out of setting everything up. That basically has you covered. And I will be sure to put a link down to download EmuDeck in the description. Okay, so now that I've talked so highly about the Steam Deck, I have to talk about its flaws because this thing is by no means perfect. The first problem with the deck is desktop mode. I am mainly talking about the operating system the Steam Deck uses, which is Linux. To be honest, it's not much of an issue for me, but I can see it being an issue with someone who has never worked on a Linux device before. For people who don't know what I mean, I'll explain. Most things, when it comes to PCs, run on Windows. That's what a majority of PC gamers play on and what public schools teach people how to use. There's a bunch of differences when it comes to navigating things on Linux as well compared to Windows, which once again could be challenging for newcomers, which is why I bring this up in the first place. Modding games can also be very tricky as a majority of mods depend on Windows and not Linux. I personally learned a lot about Linux when I was in university, so that helped me out a lot. And after all that, I highly recommend more people learn about Linux. So if you really want to learn about Linux, do some research. I promise you it's worth it. Alternatively, you could always dual boot the Steam Deck to have Windows and Linux together, but that's a bit of a process and you'll need an SD card to do this. So I personally don't recommend doing this along with Valve themselves. My next issue is something that has actually affected this channel. This isn't necessarily a direct issue of the Steam Deck itself, but it's still related to the Steam Deck, which is why I'm including it. I'm referring to the official Valve Steam Deck dock. The dock is way too overpriced in my opinion. Like, there's no reason this thing should be almost $100. The official dock, for me at least, doesn't work with any of my Elgato capture cards for some weird reason. But this third-party dock I have that I bought from the company called JSOX works perfectly. And it's half the price, which makes no sense to me. If you're interested in the dock, I'll also put that down in the description down below. Next, another problem I have is the battery life. This doesn't really apply to the OLED models since the battery on those lasts significantly longer compared to the LCD models. But still, some of these AAA games last only like 2 or 3 hours, which can be super annoying, especially if you're on a longer road trip and don't have access to like electricity or like a plug. However, if you travel a lot, I highly recommend using a battery bank to double or triple your battery life. The battery bank I use is the classic power bank, which will run you about $54 for the classic version, and for the mini it's $67. The only difference between the two is that the mini is just smaller. Both versions have a battery size of 25,000 milliampere hours, so that's a pretty big battery. It outputs roughly 100 watts, so it charges your devices pretty fast, and you can charge 2 devices at once. I am in no way sponsored by NEU at all, but I've just been using this power bank for quite a long time, so if you're looking for a recommendation on a power bank, there you go. And once again, I'll be sure to put a link in the description down below to the product. Another issue I have with the Steam Deck is offline mode. I briefly mentioned this earlier, but offline mode has a couple of problems. In order to actually go into offline mode, you have to be connected to the internet. So make sure you go into offline mode before you go somewhere like on a long car, bus, train, or airplane ride. Also, make sure you actually launch the games you want to play before you leave and before you don't have access to the internet, or else the games will not launch. Speaking of having an internet connection, something that has bothered me since its inception are single-player games that require an internet connection to even play. I'm about to rant real fast, so if you don't want to hear any of this, go ahead and skip here. You're welcome. Anyways, as I was saying, why do I have to be connected to the internet to play my single player games? I'm calling out EA on this one. Looking at you, Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, EA is trash, man. How do you make your own game launcher worse than it was before? I miss the Origin launcher, man. It was still bad, but it wasn't as bad as this. Also, can we stop with game launchers as a concept? Because Valve is literally the PC monopoly, man. This just makes me want to sail the high seas even more. Just for you, EA. Just for you. If you guys couldn't tell, I don't like EA. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Also, whenever you start up the deck, you'll see some downloads that are happening, which can be annoying for some people. These downloads aren't always updates. Instead, they are pre-cached shaders. What are these, some of you may ask? Well, for those that don't know, your shaders allow your GPU to apply effects to the screen after an image has been rendered. So that's basically what all the downloads are for every time you start up your Steam Deck. So don't worry, it's nothing bad. Your games aren't messed up. It's just they're getting their shaders and everything compiled together. Lastly, the Steam Deck can't play everything. Yes, I know, I'm bummed out too. Sometimes a game will straight up not work. Almost every game with anti-cheat won't run on the Steam Deck because, once again, the Steam Deck runs on Linux, and Linux and anti-cheat just don't like each other. A few examples of games that don't work as of December of 2024 are Call of Duty, Destiny 2, League of Legends, and Valorant, just to name a few. There's also a couple of minor issues I've encountered with the deck. First, you can't download games while the screen is off. Yes, I know that you can adjust some settings, but still, it's a bit inconvenient. The other small annoyance I had is that there's about a 300 millisecond audio delay when using a Bluetooth headset or earbud, so I just stick with your typical plug-in earbuds. Other than that, I think that's it for all my negatives on the Steam Deck, so good job, Valve. A couple kinks you guys need to fix, but you guys got it. Well, I hope I helped you guys make a decision on whether or not to buy a Steam Deck. As of the making of this video, I believe the Steam Deck has gone on sale, I think roughly three or four times. I'm not entirely sure, but it's gone on sale quite a bit, so you really don't have to worry about missing out on like a big sale, because another one will come pretty soon. And Valve is very kind when it comes to sales, like I've said already in the video. So super nice. Thank you, Valve, by the way, for putting this thing on sale for just people who just are trying to save money. Also, as of December of 2024, there are currently 3 different price points for the Steam Deck. And before I get into these, just know that every Steam Deck comes with a carrying case and a charger. So if you're worried about it, you're just gonna get this thing in a box, you shouldn't. If you do, please send it back. Like, don't, like, if it's Temu or something like that, just no. It's probably like a Leapfrog in like a Steam Deck case or something stupid like that. We're gonna go ahead and talk about those real quick. Okay, first we have the cheapest model, which is the 256 gigabyte LCD model, which is priced at $399 US. This model has up to a 60 hertz refresh rate, a battery life at 40 watt hours, and the shortest cable compared to the other two. But this model gives you the biggest bang for your buck, so if you're not looking for anything too fancy and don't feel like spending too much, then this one is for you. Next up, we have the 512 gigabyte OLED model, priced at $549 US, which has up to a 90 hertz refresh rate, a better battery life at 50 watt hours, so that's just 10 watt hours more, slightly faster Wi-Fi download and upload speeds, and a longer charging cable. This model is the cheapest OLED model, so if you like your brighter colors, a bigger battery, longer playing time, or simply a longer cable, then this model is the one for you. Finally, we have the Motherload, which is the 1TB OLED model. This one has everything that the 512GB OLED model has, but you get more storage, obviously. You also get a premium anti-glare etched glass screen, a fancier carrying case, and the most important thing you get is an exclusive Steam Deck startup movie and keyboard theme. Like, come on, guys. All of that for $649 US. Personally, out of the three of these, I would recommend the $549 model, as you're getting the OLED experience, the best battery life, and the fastest Wi-Fi, but you don't get the premium case, the startup movie. God forbid you don't get the special startup movie. And also, if you're concerned with the storage, you can always upgrade each of these SSDs, which is the storage in the device, later. It's not too difficult to upgrade, and once again, there's plenty of videos on how to do that out there. Also, quick PSA. If you are planning on buying a Steam Deck, please buy a micro SD card. This one, I don't know if the camera's going to focus on it, but it is a Lexar 1TB. It's like the one you put in the Switch. So if you already have a Switch and you have like an empty SD card, you could just use that too. But they have like smaller storage models. Like there's, I think, 512, 256, the usual stuff. 64 if you want that for some reason. I just like 1TB because it's a lot. I have everything I want all on this card. Fits right in the bottom here. But yes, please buy an SD card. Okay, that was a lot. I told you guys I was going to get this thing out at the end of 2024, and somehow, someway, I did it. But I could not have done any of this without you guys, so for that, thank you so much. I really hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please consider hitting that like button, as it helps the channel out and it helps me out so I can get more quality content like this out instead of my usual playthrough stuff, which I'm still gonna do. Don't have to worry about that. I know there's some people that enjoy watching me play my games, but anyways, thank you guys once again. Also, if you hit the copy link button at the bottom, that also counts as a share. So if you don't feel like commenting or doing anything, at least hit that share button or copy link. It looks like it doesn't do anything, but I promise you it counts as a share, and YouTube sees that stuff. You're engaging with the video and all that stuff. Also, leave a comment if I helped you make a decision, because I want to know that I helped somebody out there, because I know there's a couple people that were kind of on the fence about getting one of these bad boys. I was at first. Like I said earlier, I canceled the order, and I was like, I don't think it's worth it, but I am so glad I changed my mind. That was probably one of the best decisions I think I've made. Oh, and if you already own a Steam Deck, let me know what got you to get a Steam Deck in the first place. I'm just curious. I just want to know what everybody else is kind of thinking. I really want to thank each and every single one of you for just the support, especially this year. This year, 2024, has been very rough for me. A lot of external factors in my life have been going on that I have no control over, and honestly, it's taken a lot of motivation away from me, and that's kind of why I haven't really been as active on the channel. Like, I still do playthroughs and everything, but it's just it got to be a lot. I'm trying not to get too, but just know I am doing so much better than I was towards like the middle of this year. And I hope 2025 I can do more than just this and whatever other video I did this year. I don't even remember what I've done this year. This year has gone by so fast, guys. It's crazy. I could sit here and talk to you guys for hours just about just life and stuff like that. But I'm probably not going to do that because I know you guys got to go. I also got to go because this video has taken a lot of time and effort and just dedication to work on. Anyways, that's gonna do it for me. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, or whatever you choose to celebrate. I just hope you have a great rest of your 2024, and I will see you guys hopefully in the next video, which I think should be a compilation, something like that. You'll see whenever it comes out. If you got a Steam Deck, enjoy it, and if you're planning on getting one, I hope you enjoy it as well. Catch you guys later. Peace.